Hello, everybody. Welcome to Metallurgy with AJR. Here I am going to discuss the most frequently asked question of how the Titanic sunk. The steel used to build the Titanic was not impact resistant as modern steel. The impact test conducted shows that the steel from Titanic was about 10 times more brittle than modern steel at freezing temperatures. The estimated temperature of water at the time the Titanic struck the iceberg. Tests on chemical composition also revealed a high content of sulfur, oxygen, and phosphorus. High levels of these elements will cause the material to become more brittle. The chemical analysis also revealed a low level of manganese, another symptom for brittle material. The steel used in the manufacture of Titanic hull was having two different fracture modes. One is a ductile mode at a higher temperature. You can see the fractography. The fractography shows a dimpled structure. Whereas in the lower temperature, at the freezing temperature at which the Titanic hit the iceberg, at that temperature when you are seeing the fractography showed cleavage. And in between the temperature, you can see a transition mode also, as in the curve shown. The transition mode shows a mixture of cleavage as well as dimple. There is a mixture of ductile and a brittle fracture. So from this graph we can find out that there is a transition between ductile to brittle. The fracture toughness of steel is evaluated using the impact testing machine as shown in this figure. A specimen of known dimension as per ASTM E23 is machined having a V notch as shown in this figure. It is kept horizontally to that of the striking load. The striking load of known weight is held horizontally and then it is allowed to hit the specimen. When the load hits the specimen breaks and then the load returns to another particular position. The difference in height is taken for our calculation. H1 minus H2 into the weight of the gong will give you the fracture toughness of the steel. There are two types of impact testing machine. One is the Charpy impact testing machine and another is ISOD impact testing machine. The types of notches used is U notch and V notch can be used in Charpy impact testing, and in the case of ISOD impact testing only V notch is used. The position of the specimen, it is always kept horizontal in the case of Charpy impact testing, whereas in the case of ISOD impact testing the specimen is kept vertical. The striking point is in the middle of the sample, and for the ISOD impact testing the striking point is in the upper tip of the sample. The fracture toughness of the steel is plotted at various temperatures, and you can see the energy absorbed is different for various temperatures. The fracture toughness is different for different temperatures. So from the graph you can see that there are different types of transition temperatures. One is 100% ductile fracture takes place at T1, and you can see in between the center of the line 50% cleavage and 50% ductile, that is T2. Then this is T3. This is the transition temperature at the average energy absorption of upper and lower shells. Then what about T4? T4 is the temperature defined by the international community as 20J transition temperature. This 20J transition temperature is kept as a safety factor for all materials, because below this the material becomes 100% brittle. Then the last one is T5. T5 transition temperature is the temperature at which the fracture is 100% cleavage, that is 100% brittle. Some of the salient features of DBDT. The BCC metals, particularly the low strength steels, they are more prone to DBDT, whereas the low strength FCC and HCP metals and high strength materials, they are more indifferent to DBDT. Secondly, when the percentage of carbon increases more and more, the DBDT decreases. When the percentage of carbon is less than 0.1%, the DBDT of the steel is very much significant. The larger the grain size, the DBDT rises. Fourth point is the tempering for uniform fine precipitates of carbides in martensite lowers the transition temperature. Figure 5 shows that the rolling direction affects the DBDT. And in figure 6 you can see the effect of section thickness on DBDT. The thicker the specimen, the transition temperature is increased. Figure 7 shows how the deleterious elements like sulfur and phosphorus raises the transition temperature curve. Now we will have a comparative study of the chemical analysis of titanic steel and modern steel. You can see the tabulation. Here phosphorus and sulfur is on the higher side for titanic steel. Similarly, oxygen is also 0.013. In modern steel, there will be virtually no oxygen. And one more important point is the manganese sulfide ratio in the modern steel is 15:1. That is the actual specified ratio. Here in the titanic steel, it is very less, 7:1. To conclude, the impact energy, that is the toughness, is very low at -2 degrees centigrade. It is 4 joules only. So the material has become very brittle at a low temperature, at the freezing temperature in the icy waters of Atlantic. And also you can see that the DBDT is 30 degrees centigrade, that is somewhat higher. Less than 30 degrees centigrade means the material becomes brittle. So we can finally conclude with a word that the steel used in the construction of Titanic was not suitable to be used at low temperature. If you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.